Black Prior is a walking Uno reverse card with a unique counter to various types of moves. Thankfully, that gimmick is pretty easy to recreate in Elden Ring, albeit without treating your opponents like pancakes. You've got 4 solid options for a starting class depending on how you want to play: Prophet or Confessor, and Vagabond or Hero. Vagabond and Hero were probably the obvious picks going in, and while Vagabond has a sword and shield giving you an earlier look at your eventual playstyle, they've got 3 extra dexterity points that we won't be needing, making Hero the better pick for long-term min-maxing. Prophet and Confessor obviously tend to lean more towards Faith builds, with Prophet having higher Mind and Faith, while Confessor has more balanced melee combat stats. Confessor also happens to start with more gear that I've picked for the build, but in the long run I planned on prioritizing Vigor, Endurance, Strength, and Faith, making Prophet the best choice. Choose whoever you want though. Once your choice is made, blast some MCR while applying your eyeshadow and shaving your head. Your choice of starting item is completely up to you, I just went with the Stone Sword Key. Regardless of your starting class choice, here's the checklist of armor and weapons we'll need to grab: the Champion's Headband, Confessor's Armor, the Scaled Greaves and Gauntlets, 2 Banished Knight Shields, and the Broadsword as it has good strength scaling, but the Lordsworn Straight-Sword is also a great option. This is the basic BP build I came up with, however there's lots of room for improvisation and customization that I'll touch on later. If you're also speccing into Faith like I did, I'll cover that as we go. The start I used for this character, and I use for all my characters, isn't anything out of the ordinary. It's the standard Dectus Greyoll Rush. You can skip to this time marker and you will not have missed grabbing any of the gear that we just mentioned for this build. However, if you are unfamiliar with this start, I'll walk you through it. We'll grab the crafting kit from Kale, then head to the Gatefront Ruins where we'll find the map, grab the Whetstone Knife, then meet Melina and gain +1 horsepower. It'll now be nighttime, so we'll go start Box questline, then grab the Spirit Calling Bell from Blue Waifu. Once that's done, let's go to the beach. South of the cave where we can help Bach is the merchant that sells the broadsword for 1800 runes. If you can't afford it yet, don't worry because that'll change soon. Keep going south from him and we'll grab a golden chicken nugget. From where we met Melina, we'll follow the path north and grab the golden seed and a stone sword key on our way to meet Roderica. Then make sure to grab some root resin from the War Master's shack to the east. You might think to buy the parry skill from Bernal, but we won't be needing it. We'll then continue east. You can help out Step Pod if you want, but our main goal is getting the wondrous Physick and Sacred Tear from the Third Church of Marika. Head south and we'll grab the map, more tears for our Physick, and get another golden seed along with the left half of the Dectus medallion from Fort Height. While there, make sure to grab the cookbook and some blood roses. When you pair them with root resin, you can make your weapon build up bleed, which will be helpful in a couple minutes. Head south to the Weeping Peninsula and grab the Morning Star from this cart. We might as well grab the golden seed and 3 additional sacred tears while we're here. Go back to the Church of Marika and we'll take the teleporter just north of it. Grab the golden seed as we head south and go past this tree to Fort Faroth. This is a big 3 for 1, as we'll run past the bats to grab the other half of the Dectus medallion, then drop down here to grab Radagon's Source Seal. If you die here, don't worry too much about your runes, because we're about to make a ton of them by murdering a family of dragons. Equip the Morning Star, apply bleed, and start wailing on the dragon's tail. Make sure you snack on the chicken nugget right before the dragon dies for maximum cash. Congratulations, our immediate financial problems have now been solved. If you didn't beforehand, now is a good time to grab the broadsword from the merchant on the Limgrave Beach. We're now gonna head south from Fort Faroth and go to the Church of the Plague, which has another sacred tear. We'll make a quick stop into town to grab the golden seed, then continue south. If you didn't start as hero, you'll need to grab the champion's headband from this merchant right next to the map. You could also get the Great Helm since BP also has a Great Helm, but it's not as iconic of a BP look in my opinion. Right next to here is the Caelid map, and southwest of here is the Dragon Communion Cathedral. There's 2 banished knights here that have a chance to drop their shield. You can farm that from them when you're ready. If you haven't been invited to the Round Table Hold by now, you should get an invite by resting at a Site of Grace. Here, we'll be able to buy the Finger Seal if you want it, some early game incantations from Brother Corin, and we'll say hello to Edgelord to get his pose. With whatever runes you have left, put points into Vigor, Endurance, and Strength. If you're speccing into it, Faith should be your lowest priority as we're only leveling it to reach our desired incantations. We'll eventually want 25 points into it, but there's no rush. We've done all we can in the southern portion of the lands between for now, so we're off to Liurnia. Just use the shortcut directly north of the Stormhill Shack, and grab another sacred tear by Thops before continuing north. Just past the spot where you pick up the map is a teleporter. Hopping in here gives us a Site of Grace right at the front door of the Academy. Head south towards the other map marker and grab another golden seed, and then this site of grace. Just south of here is best girl Raya and best friend Bogart. Sort out their misunderstanding with 1,000 runes, and if you want, buy some prawn. If you want to incorporate faith, now is a good time to head over to Turtle Pope as he can teach us Blessing's Boon. We've now unlocked BP's Tier 4 Regenerate. To get through the Academy's magic door, we need a key. Head to the site of grace here, and north of it is a sleeping dragon. You do not need to fight this dragon. Just ride your horse around the left side and grab the magic key, then make a beeline west. Follow the path north past the map and past EG until we get to Caria Manor. Just grab the site of grace. We'll unfortunately need to come back here later, because now it's time for the Altus Plateau. We can now go through the first Academy teleporter, but run past the second to grab another golden seed before heading through. Grab this sacred tier on the way to the elevator, and show off your completed coin collection to gain access to the Altus Plateau. Raya should be standing in front of the elevator, but make sure to grab the site of grace to the left before holding hands with her. Join the Volcano Manor because Deus Vult, pick up the first contract, and head out the front door to get another golden seed and the Mount Gelmir map. If you're incorporating faith or you need the Confessor armor, we'll head past the giant tree worm. On the shack to the left is Golden Vow, but be aware Anastasia will invade us when we go near it. If you don't need the incantation, you can avoid the invasion altogether by sticking to the right until you find this ladder. Keep following the path and play some more MGS3 until we find this merchant. The armor will cost 1500 runes. If you want a strong healing incantation, port back to the Round Table Hold and talk to Brother Corrin, who will now move to the Altus Plateau. We'll head back to the site of grace we grabbed before talking to Raya and head north. Off to the right of the Lux Ruins is another site of grace and another golden seed. We'll also follow the path to the camp and grab the Greatshield Talisman from this cart. This is a great talisman that makes blocking consume less stamina. Head southeast to get back on the main path, and go left when the road splits to grab another golden seed, the map, and great heal from Brother Corrin for 9k runes if you want it. If we return to where the road split, we can find another site of grace. East up the stairs past the Tree Sentinel duo, we'll find another site of grace with 2 golden seeds and the map for the capital. We'll keep following this road north for 2 more seeds, then continue following the path past the wall for a 3rd. Just watch out for the trebuchets. If we follow the path south from here, we can get to Stormcaller Church and get another sacred tier. Return to the second spot where we found 2 golden seeds and look for the scarab on a balcony to the left. It teleports when you get close, so use a ranged attack or stealth. Just don't miss. Or miss and somehow still get it. Either way, congratulations! You now have Golden Parry. This is a parry that has great frames and also works at range, making it great for countering melee attacks from a safer distance. However, it can only be used on small or medium shields, which is why I chose the Banished Knight shield for this build. In For Honor, Blackprior doesn't counter just normal melee attacks, but bashes as well, making him very versatile. This is why we want 2 shields, so we can put Carian Retaliation on the other. We'll head back to the Caria Manor gate and just run through the area. We need to get to the merchant up here, and unless there's a way to get to him before beating Loretta, we've got to push on. After the Manor upper level site of grace is the last golden seed I'll be showing in this build, and now we've got 11 flasks at +8, and I'm only level 35 right now. After defeating Loretta, we can go left alongside the cliff until we can drop onto a building and find a hole in the ceiling we can fall into. Padilla is inside and sells us the Carian Retaliation Ash of War. We now have parries to deal with both melee and magic attacks, and we can switch between these 2 on the fly. Unfortunately, holding 2 shields can be pretty heavy, so to avoid fat rolling we can use Radagon's Soreseal, which we grabbed earlier, or continue Box questline so he can appease Edna Mode and remove our cape. We'll now take on Knight Istvan to get the Scaled Greaves and Gauntlets and get the last of the necessary equipment for this build. I was able to do all of this in under 4 hours before reaching level 40 and fighting Margit, so it's not a particularly hard or long setup. You can even save time by skipping all of the golden seeds, sacred tears, and killing Greyoll. The build how I imagined it is complete, and now you've got some choices. The main stats you'll be leveling will be Strength, Vigor, and Endurance. If you choose to level Faith, just put whatever points are necessary so you can use your desired incantations. I think there's a few that really fit for Blackprior. Golden Vow is basically morale booster, and the healing over time ones are sort of a different way to emulate BP's Umbral Shelter. It's just that rather than a shield protecting you and your allies' health, it just regenerates back if you get hit. Or, you know, just pretend that Regenerate now also affects allies. Another very recognizable Blackprior ability is Oathbreaker, which you can totally recreate with Law of Regression by speccing into Intelligence instead of Faith, making Astrologer or Prisoner also viable starting classes. If you want to use this build purely in PvP, I don't blame you for wanting the option to say no to your opponent's buffs, but I think you get more benefit out of the Faith incantations. As for talismans, the Greatshield talisman we grabbed is a must, and you can't go wrong with the Dog or Erdtree's favorite talismans either. If you are using Faith, the Old Lord's Talisman in Farum Azula is a good way to extend the duration of your incantations, which is really good for the ones that heal over time. If you're playing solo and you want character-friendly spirit summons, I think either the Warhawk or Stormhawk Dean are your best bets. Once you enter Stormvale and find the painting near the left side chamber side of Grace, head to the Church of Pilgrimage in the Weeping Peninsula, then go to the northernmost point to get the Warhawk. Stormhawk Dean requires you to return to the Chapel of Anticipation via the 4 belfries, beat the Grafted Scion, which was a lot easier than I expected, and head up through a door that was previously locked. For your Physick, if you want to emulate revenge, I think a great way is combining the Opaline Bubble tier that you get from defeating the Erdtree avatar in the Weeping Peninsula with the Strength Knot Crystal tier you can find northeast of the Stormhill Shack. Finally, next to the room with the Grafted Scion in Stormvale Castle and behind a fog wall is the Iron Whetblade. I recommend grabbing this so you can infuse your sword of choice with a heavy infusion. Like I said earlier, the Lordsworn Straightsword is also a great choice. I think visually it looks more accurate, but it never gets above a B scaling with any infusion, even at max level. Meanwhile, a heavy infused broadsword gets A scaling with strength at plus 20. Speaking of choices, you may want to try different headpieces, or no headpiece. I already talked about the Great Helm, but another great option is the Skeletal Mask, which you can find in Sage's Cave. You could also choose to use a Great Shield instead of the 2 Banished Knight Shields. Great Shields often have a higher guard boost, meaning a lower stamina cost for blocking, and while you can't parry with them, there are some other Ash of Wars you can use, like Shield Bash, Holy Ground, and Vow of the Indomitable. If you want to use a Great Shield, I think the most accurate to BP's default shield is the wooden Great Shield found here in Stormvale Castle. The Eclipse Great Shield also looks better and works better than the wooden Great Shield. It drops from the Mausoleum Knights, such as this one in front of the Black Knife Catacombs. No matter what route you pick though, BP is a really simple and effective build in Elden Ring, both in PvP and PvE. Thanks for watching. Freeze and I did some invasions at level 40 where I used both Blackprior and Raider alongside his Conqueror. His video is already up and you can check that out in my description or pinned comment. How to BP in For Honor, more For Honor shenanigans in Elden Ring, and seeing if I can beat Elden Ring as a mage with the lowest intelligence are all on the way, so make sure you're subscribed to see them first. Thank you to my Patreon supporters enabling my coffee addiction and obviously supporting the channel, especially Shadow and TheRookieVA. If you want perks like early access to my videos and a special chat in my Discord, check out the link in my description. Have a good one, and I'll see you on the next video.